watching Michael drive past in the Manitou. Not quite as perky as I would like to see him. The eyes always tell you so much, and there's just this, if you look just at the shape of his eye, it just has a slightly worried look about it. And it's just not as sparkly and as bright as usual. It's always interesting to share these observations so that anybody else who's watching this who has a horse, you know, can recognise the signs. And as I say, he may just be very, very tired, looks sleepy, and hopefully after a good night's rest he'll be back to his usual cheeky self. But I want that eye to look a little bit softer and not quite so angled here, which is the slight worried look that he's giving. Walked him up towards the woods, which has definitely perked him up a little bit. He's not walked up here before. So we'll just have a little wander back down and then he can go to bed. Good boy, eh? He's a good boy. Little Nero. Now, bearing in mind that this is always the scary end of the farm, and when he came up to this end of the arena, he'd generally be wanting to have a little run. This is very quiet for him. So brought Nero in and he started tucking into his hay net and then brought his feed in, and he really wasn't that keen on his feed. So what I've done is I've taken his temperature, and unfortunately he is running a fever. So he's got a temperature of 40, which is too high, which can be very often a sign of a viral infection, a bit of a flu, a bit of a cold. So I'm just waiting for the on-call vet to give me a call back and we'll decide what we need to do. But that explains why he's not looking quite himself. So that was his temperature, and the normal temperature for a horse is 36.7 to 38.3 usually. So anything 39 or above, then you know that there's something not quite right. I've just spoken to Michaela, who's the vet on call at Frames today, because it's bank holiday, because, you know, we like to have call outs out of hours. I don't think it's necessary for her to come out. What she said is the main thing is to get his other bute into him, because he's on 2 bute a day anyway. He had his one this morning, but he hasn't eaten this evening's. So I've just put the bute inside a bit of apple with some molasses. I did check to make sure that he was eating some apple first, and hopefully he's going to eat this one without spitting it out. Although he'll get the powder in there. Yeah, he's not so keen on that. And unfortunately, I don't have any bute paste in at the moment. So he's made that little sticky mess. So what I'll do is I'll go and get a little bit more molasses, mix it in with that, and see what I can do to encourage him to eat it. But it's likely that he's just picked up a little bit of a viral infection. Of course, Michaela talked about the possibility of strangles, but all horses are strangles tested before they come here. But there's a very, very remote possibility that he could have something sitting in his guttural pouch, but I think that is worst case scenario. My personal view at the moment is that it was wet the other day. We've had some changes in temperature. And because he's had an awful lot going on in his life over the last few months, he is more susceptible to picking up any little bugs going. He did have a little bit of a snotty nose the other day. He has had a little bit of a cough today as well. So we just need to keep him nice and warm and quiet in the barn. Get some bute, some anti-inflammatories into him. I'll monitor him overnight and see how he's feeling in the morning before deciding what else it is that we can do to help him feel a little bit better. Oh, Nero, little man. Chef Hole.
Yeah, bruvs.
Yep.
I'm the head chef in it.
Yeah.
This is my number 2.
Yep, so there's liquid molasses there, apple, chaff, some balancer, and that bute that he dribbled all over my hand. But yeah, we won't tell him.
There isn't bute in there,
No.
Tracy.
Okay, it's just a nice tasty mash. At least he's got Kathleen the carrot to keep him company there. Oh, it's horrible when they're feeling under the weather. But he's got little Zhao for company over there. Hida in next door. Teddy Bear and Annie and Dale tonight.
And holes.
And Holes, but you're not staying here all night.
Yeah, I am. That's my bed.
Is that? Are you sleeping in the middle there?
Yeah, I'm sleeping in that.
In the drain?
Yeah.
You're odd. Well, little man's been in bed. He's had a snooze. He's thrown his food on the floor in disgust, haven't you? So he's still not got that bute inside him, so we'll get hold of some bute pastes, which are much like the tubes of Gastrogard that Iceman's been having, and that way I can get them straight into his system. Hey. Oh, little man. Are you feeling under the weather? It's not nice, is it? Hey? It's not nice. You can see just here in Nero's nostril, he's got a little bit of a snotty nose there, which again is a clear sign that he's picked up a bit of a cold, because his immune system may not be as strong as some of the others, because he's had a lot going on over the last 6 months. He is going to be more susceptible, just as any of us are more susceptible to picking up bugs and getting sick if we've run ourselves down, or we've gone through any kind of stressful situations. Checking on Nero again, and I've taken his temperature and it has dropped by 0.3. But what I've done is it is a little bit cooler outside now. I've just popped a rug on him to help keep him nice and warm. I think we'll even go out and see whether he fancies having a pick of grass, because he's not tucking into his haylage or his food. But he might be able to find some old meadow grass that appeals to him. So we're Tuesday morning. Nero still isn't really keen on his food, but I'm pleased to say temperature has dropped 0.7 now overnight. But we're just going to go out and have another little pick of grass. But you can see he's still looking a little bit sorry for himself, aren't you, darling? Interestingly there, he was eating the reeds, which the horses generally don't do. Mind you, he had a couple of mouthfuls and then decided he didn't want any more. It's a bit squelchy down this path, isn't it? This is the footpath that leads from the barn down to the bottom fields. And the national parks did come and try to drain it once, but it's just one of those pathways that even when it's really dry, it seems to be wet. Oh, little Nero. He's having a lick in the mud there, so there's obviously something he's found down there. It tastes good. And if you saw Hol's free rein video, she explained a little bit more about this. Just like when we're sick, you know, there's some things that we want to eat and other things that we don't. And horses are very good at listening to their stomachs, whereas I think sometimes human beings aren't. See how he carefully picked around the buttercups there. But certainly if he was feeling himself, he'd be quite cheeky walking along here because he's not been around here before. So I'm taking him away from the areas that he's familiar with. But he's very relaxed. So we look at the positives. It's a good training exercise, even though he's not feeling himself. You have to put a little bit more trust in me today, eh? There, he's eating a little bit of the longer couch grass. Which these longer patches, you'll notice that they've been left by all the free reiners. So again, interesting that he's picked at those. That's good that I've brought him back in and he's picking at his hay net, which of course he didn't want to do last night. So we're on the right tracks. We've got little Zhao over here whose feet are much better now that she's had them trimmed. And this is the thing, when she gets a little bit too much growth and the angle goes wrong, then she does feel that fractured extensor process more. But the other thing I want to point out with Zhao is you can see that she's got a bit of a snotty nose there. And this just shows that the change in weather has had an effect on a number of them. But Zhao doesn't have a temperature like Nero because, you know, she's a bit more resilient. You know, she's been around here for a long time. She's settled. She's not had any trauma in her life recently, well, other than Hida pulling faces at her there. Now, what possibly hasn't helped with her is because she's been in for a few days, because her feet were a little bit uncomfortable, she's not been out in the fresh air and able to move around, to regulate her own temperature, clear everything out of her lungs. So being inside in the stable has probably created a little bit more of a problem with her respiratory system. But we'll get that snotty nose cleaned up now. She's coping with getting a little bit of a cold much better than Nero is right now. The rain is well and truly back now. There's Jodie. She's just been clearing out stable stays as we've got visitors in, but Nell's at home. You've got Nell on camera, haven't you, at home?
Yeah, she's panting a lot and she's restless, so
Puppies any day.
yeah.
And through here, the barn's a bit crowded this morning because everyone wants to be in out of the rain. So that's Annie's bottom. She's busy watching Hole down in the feed room sort everyone's feed. We've got Chris in. He's doing Renska's fronts right now. He's already done Zhao's feet, as I mentioned earlier, and she's a lot more comfortable. We've got Yodel in there. She's had new shoes. Oh, Nero's perked up a little bit now. Just managed to get a couple of butte into him that I just dissolved with some warm water and sugar and syringed it into his mouth. But the vets are sending me some butte paste just in case his appetite doesn't pick up over the next 24 hours. Then we've got Dow in there, in staying dry, because she and Yolanda are about to head off to Mels this afternoon. And then, oh, look, we've got Niki New as well. She's having her toes done in a minute. Keeps her feet quite neat, but there is a bit of growth there. And then because it's raining, sorry, there's Hoitzer and Jubbers is in there somewhere. Where's Jubbers gone? There's little Jubbers. Teddy Bear is in the friendship barn with our lovely visitors at the moment. And then down here, because it's rained, Michael has been rained off his other job, which was another bit of roofing. Because he can come and work in the dry in here, he's in here blocking up the wall up here. My goodness, and once again, you've not hung around, have you, Michael?
What?
You've not hung around again.
Well, it needs a coat or something on there, and we'll be looking.
Brilliant. See, you see, there's a positive to the rain because it meant you got rained off your other job.
No. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's not nice, is it? It's about half an hour since this little man's had his butte now. And I'm pleased to say that he was having a little bit of a pick at the hay net, but he's still clearly feeling under the weather. It's one of those days today where everything is a little harder than usual. We've arrived at Mels, but literally just as we set off, I had a phone call from Jodie to say that Nell had started to have pups, so she's had to shoot off. We've got a yard full of horses back at home. Hol and I are obviously here. It's pouring with rain. Hoitzer's outside in the rain, getting wet, and he needs to dry out for stable stays. So Hol and I are just going to cut our sessions short with Mel today before we head back over. But you can see she's over there with Yodel. I've got Doubtson here. We've got this beautiful spring rain that just seems to keep on coming. It's no wonder that the horses are getting a bit of a cold. It's no different to us, you know, when the weather's changing lots. Some of us are more susceptible to it than others. Well, we're back from Mels. The rain has stopped. We had Annie and Teddy Bear there waiting to meet us. Oh, Teddy Bear's pooing at the bottom of the lorry. Cole's got Yodel off. Unfortunately, Jodie was able to pop back and she's got Hoitzer in, so he's able to dry off before our visitors come. And this is a really good sight to see. Young man looking much brighter. He's been in bed again, but the fact that he's eating means that that butte has kicked in. I was just picking some cow parsley for Nero as I came up the road, and Hannes was stood here looking expectantly, so it was only right to bring him some over as well. There is little Prince Cole. Nice man who's had his meds for the day. He's back out. And I'll pick plenty more cow parsley up the rest of the hill because there's still lots left on the road. Always so tasty, Hannes. Do you fancy some cow parsley? Oh, that's a good sign. So he's not made a massive dent in his hay net. But this is good. There you go, let me pop it down there. I'll go for another pick of grass in a minute. While he's munching on his cow parsley, I've just taken his temperature again, and that's good because it's down to 39.1. So it's coming down very slowly. Obviously 40 last night, then it dropped to 39.7, 39.3 this morning, and 39.1 now. So we're definitely heading in the right direction, but you're not heading out of your box on your own.
Jabbers, that's not for you.
He's checking it.
Yeah, Jabbers, you need to move, darling. Because it'll squash you. It'll squash you. It's a little person. It's a little person helping himself.
Go for it, JB. This is good. We've just had a new bale delivered, and that's the appetite we like to see. Even though Tamara's clearly lost her appetite because Sandra dropped off more tiffin and some treats for the horses today, and Tamara hasn't had any tiffin, have you?
Oh, please don't keep saying tiffin.
Tiffin,
because I
tiffin,
really,
tiffin.
really want to have some, but I'm trying not to eat as much sugar. Now I'm going to have to.
Oh, I've got to move now. Okay. This is so much easier since we've got the concrete.
Also, does anyone know how Bailey's bacon's gone?
No, I haven't even been in to see him yet.
I've not tried it.
Everybody gets involved.
Even Woody.
Even Woody.
You can't eat haylage. You can't get involved or getting in the way.
There's a fine line.
Yeah, Woody. Yeah. If you poo in there.
He's just pooed outside. I've cleared
Has
it up.
he?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
He had a lot of horsehair in it and I had to
Did he?
pull it out.
Ooh, that's disgusting. That is gross.
Oh, is he
Yeah.
allowed to pee outside? Because Hol's not allowed to pee outside.
No, Holly's definitely not allowed to pee outside.
So Zhao there, who has just had a girly cold and not man flu, although she's still got a snotty nose, she's blown a lot of it out of her nose as we've walked down the road. Most of it went over whole. She's still not got a temperature, so she's going to come and spend the night out in the orchard where she's got lots of fresh air and she's got little Annie for company. So Annie has a Snuggie hood on there because, as we all know, she doesn't do well in the rain. Her skin's very sensitive, but the fly sheets don't work well in the rain. So the best way to protect her chest is with a Snuggie hood. Well, the bowl's upside down, so I'm hoping it's empty. That's charming, Nero. Oh, that's really good. So that's another beaut in his system. He's very good letting me do it while he's in bed. Oh, it's beeping. Right, let's see what it is. $38.7. I've just picked up the last of the bug rugs from Malcolm, who's done all our printing for us. And they look amazing because what he's done is he's tried to use all their own individual colours. Now, obviously, some of these are printed on both sides. So if you're one of those sponsors and you're not on this side, don't worry, you're on the other. But there's Mabel in her plum, Renska in her gold, Zhao in her pretty pink colours. Check this one out, though. Nero, he even found a rainbow print to go on there. How cool does that look? There's Yodel in her chili red, and of course it's her birthday on Thursday. Then Veebs, little teddy bear, Annie, Iceman, and Hoitsy Poitsy. So as much as I don't like bugs, we do need the sun to come back now because this rain is getting a little bit boring, obviously making them not feel so great. So as soon as the sun is back and it's likely to be dry for a while, we'll get all these rugs tried on all the boys and girls and get some nice video footage for you as well. I'm sorry, I've got a new favourite. It was my Anya one, and obviously I love my Anya one, and I love the Yolanda one, but Diane's just bought the Hoitzer one along.
With an extra heart.
Hoitsy Poitsy. Oh.
And if I hold it up with the sun, because it's... Oh gosh, it's
So
treading
black
on
and
it.
gold.
It's
There you
all
go,
black
Frey,
and
you can hold.
gold.
Oh,
Oh, well done, Frey. You're so
look
much
at
taller than me.
that.
And it's a little bit longer than some of the others.
Well, he's a little bit taller than some of the others.
A little bit taller. So it's black and gold throughout, and then on the back, which way are we going, Frey? Yeah, that'll do.
Oh, all the
stars.
stars, because he's an absolute star.
And I've called it Black Magic.
That's just beautiful. There's no other words to describe it.
And all the loose cottons on it. I'll take those
I'll
off.
trust you to notice the little details like that. I don't look at things like that.
Oh, but yeah. So there we are.
So that will be raffled soon as well. Another delivery, wonderful delivery. And I believe this is from Layla, who has very kindly sent through some replacement drinks after seeing Annie spilling mine the other day. So I'm sure that this will go down well at our next gathering. We've also had arrive today, as well as that incredible quilt for Hoitzer, Wendy has created beautiful scarves
Oh, I like that. It's
for
shimmery.
Hannes here.
Shiny.
So they've literally arrived in the post today, but let's zoom in because the detail on this is gorgeous. It's all sparkly and shiny.
And you have a very sparkly pen.
Yeah, and beautifully colour coordinated. And as Hannes is your baby boy, as well as everybody else's baby boy, you get to model it for the photos because this will get launched tonight. So it's our next fundraising raffle because Hannes's birthday is the day before Hoitzer's birthday. Hannes's birthday is on the 7th of June and Hoitzer's is on the 8th of June. Then we've got the Hoitzer one, black and gold again. Oh, gorgeous. Look at that.
Then on the back.
Look at this. And because Hoitzy's one of the original boys, and I happen to be dressed in black today, I'm going to model this one. So I hope that doesn't put anyone off buying raffle tickets. And what Frey has quite rightly pointed out about this beautifully soft scarf for Hoytz's birthday is the orange in it is a little bit of Jubba's, because Jubba's colours are orange and he's Hoytz's best buddy. So not only do you get a little bit of Hoytzer, but you get a little bit of Jubba's as well.